On this latest edition of DWZ special episode, of course, as you know, the latest tour from, the recent tour from MARIGOLD's New Year's Golden Garden has come to a close. Uh, we had, of course, catching up with that, so we'll be catching up with the other tour soon enough. But for now, we're just gonna focus on these last four. So stay tuned for it and buckle up. So let's get started with another special episode. Hey everyone, welcome to DWZ special episode where we try to keep up on what's been happening, of course, in all of pro wrestling, such as, of course, promotions from anywhere in the world, such as Marigold, Marvelous, All Japan Pro Wrestling, and whatever promotion we might have missed out that I have been unable to keep up with you guys on the much normal review episodes we normally do here. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling content, such as, of course, reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do some news updates to keep you guys updated on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. We also, of course, do some real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got to do Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us and click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting videos just like this and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this video, of course, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, as you know, it's all about the last four shows of Marigold. Keep in mind, the videos have been recorded earlier, and they'll be dated exactly when did I record it, and of course the poster will be added as a way to keep you guys on track which ones I've been doing. So right now, let's begin with our very first one, which is, of course, the Marigold show for New Year's Golden Garden that took place on day 9 on the 12th of February. Okay, Marigold, New Year's Golden Garden 2026. This is day 9. This happened, of course, on the 13th of February. As you all know, we're only 1 month away from that, but I had to do it anyway. And this took place, of course, in one of my favorite venues in Tokyo, of course, Shinjuku Face. As you all know, I actually talked about this where they're closing its doors due to some sort of regulation or whatever. But let's enjoy Shinjuku Face as much as we can, but let's get to it with this particular show. Now, our first match, we have singles action. We have Nagisa Tachibana taking on Shoko Koshino. Now, of course, as we have seen these ladies pick up wins here and there, but Koshino is the one person who I've been watching how much she has really brought a bit of a growth to the audience. People are getting behind her, and she's been picking up more wins than Tachibana did. But her skills is pretty good, I have to say. I'm not going to lie about that. She was able to pick up the win with a diving body press, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, this next match is a very interesting, funny one, because we had a bit of a reverse character, if you know what I mean. Well, now Ishikawa decided to dress up as Megaton, and Megaton dressed up as Naoshikawa. Now, to be fair, Naoshikawa, I gave her, of course, 10 points due to the 10 out of 10, knowing that she put a lot of effort to play Megaton's character. But Megaton dressing up as Naoshikawa, that's a different story, because she comes out. If you guys noticed, if you ever seen the match, she looked more like she had a big belly, like showing too much. Like, she looks very embarrassed, in some ways. But she tried to get into character. Now, I did like how in the in-ring, Naoshikawa did put up the character that tried to play character, where, as you guys ever seen her, Megaton runs back and forth, in between the ropes. Well, Ishikawa did the same thing. She even put out the personalities of her, where of course she gets tired. And now I think Megaton's like, wait a minute, I can do that. So she tried, but it didn't work. But of course, at some point, Megaton broke character, and now Ishikawa had no other choice to break character herself too. And she put Megaton in a crossface, and just like that, she tapped out. Now, our next match is, of course, Chiaki taking on Hummingbird. Now, as you all know, Chiaki will be facing Miku Ano for the world title. So basically, this is her testing herself and also building up momentum. Now, obviously, when it comes to Chiaki, we all know that she's a member of Darkness Revolution, that she would do whatever it takes to pick up the wins in order to do so. And that's exactly what she did. But she was able to defeat Hummingbird with a power bomb, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Our next match, we have tag team action. We have Yuka Yamazaki and Seri Yamaoka. They take on, of course, Natsumi Shozuki and Mai Sakurai. Now, for those who haven't noticed, Shozuki and Mai Sakurai are currently, as you know, part of the MARIGOLD 3D Trios title tournament, and her, along with Arina Yamanaka, who is not present at the time, but she will be soon enough. But I have to say they did a pretty good job together as a tag team, despite that they're involved in that trios tournament. And in fact, it was Sakurai that picked up the win on Yamazaka with the STF, and just like that, Yamazaki tapped out, and it was completely over from there. But of course, there was a bit of a post-match promo where Sakurai put on her lady persona, trying to prove her point. And of course, Yamazaki, of course, is pretty much frustrated, which of course is bound to happen. Now, our next match, we have Chika Goto and Utami Ayashida. They take on Kyuki Omori and Mikuanu. Now, obviously, if you guys notice, on opposite ends, Chika Goto and Kyuki Omori together, they're known as a tag team as Twin Towers, who, in my opinion, should have been the first ever tag team, champions, but however, it didn't happen. And of course, Utami Ashida is across the woman who defeated her earlier this year for the world title, and that kind of sets it up. But it was a pretty good match, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there has been some good moments, but in the end, it was Utami Ashida with the German suplex hold onto Kyuki Omori, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. And then we did see a bit of a post-match promo between Utami and Chika Goto. So I'm going to presume they probably want to have a match against each other, but we'll see what happens. Now, our main event is the semifinals of the MARIGOLD 3D Trios title tournament. First, we have Darkness Revolution, consistent of Rei Seto, Mita Matsui, who is, of course, one half with Chiaki as the Twin Star Tag Team Champions, and, of course, Nagisa Nozaki. They take on Komomo Minami, Victoria Yuzuki, and Mayu Iwatani. Now, obviously, many people possibly thought, in their honest opinion, that Mayu and her team would be the fan favorites due to, hey, we got the Icon involved. She's sure to win. I think that's something that would have been great. But, of course, when it comes to Darkness Revolution, not to compare them like Hate from Stardom, but they do have that same kind of traits where they try to ensure their opponents are beaten down, making sure that they do not get up or win anything. But, however, the one thing that makes a good factor is Rei Seto. As you all know, the reason she joined Darkness Revolution was to ensure that people like, of course, Komomo Minami, who is one of the rookies alongside Rei Seto, well, a couple years earlier than earlier than her, was not going to let rookies to outshine her, and that's exactly what she did. Rhea Seto was able to pin Komomo Minami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, we did see a post-match promo and everything else, so we'll see what happens until then. Now, we do have 3 more shows coming from this, and that's pretty much it. So for right now, let's end it right here. Okay, Marigold, New Year's Golden Garden, Day 10, and this, of course, happened on the 14th, the 14th, yeah, the 14th of course, of February, which, of course, was a month ago. And this happened at the Korea, Iowa Hall, somewhere in Aichi, of course. But anyway, let's start out with the first match. We have a 3-way. We have Rhea Seto of Darkness Revolution versus um, Shiko Koshino versus Natsumi Shozuki. Now, obviously, when it comes to Rhea Seto, we know that she'll try to use any means necessary as a member of Darkness Revolution to catapult her win. As for Koshino, we have seen her win some impressive matches, either in singles or in tag team. And as for Natsumi Shozuki, well, obviously, we all know she's the first inaugural Superfly champion. So we all know that. And of course, she and along with 2 others, with Mai Sakurai and Arina Yamanaka, are involved in the 3D tournament. And I thought it's a very interesting matchup. But the real question is who walks away, because remember, there's always a third person that would try to stop the countdown. But in the end, it was, of course, Shizuki that picked up the win when she pinned both Koshino and Seto at the same time. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have singles action. We have Nagisa Nozaki versus Yuka Yamazaki. Now, obviously, as a member of Darkness Revolution, as Nozaki will definitely try to win, but as you know, she has far more better experience than Yamazaki. That always plays out pretty well. The experience has always been one of the factors we have seen in Japanese wrestling. But of course, Nozaki tried the Lance Lord to take her out, but somehow Yamazaki kicked out of it. But later we did see her try a missile drop kick, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, during the post match, well, let's just say Nozaki, who doesn't take kindly if people try to kick out of her strongest moves, they deserve to be punished by being, taken outside and beaten up outside. That's how she operates these days. Now, speaking of Darkness Revolution, we have the other members, our current Twin Star Tag Team Champions, Chiaki and Mitsumatsui, taking on Megaton and Miku Anu. Now, of course, many of you know this. Chiaki became the next challenger for the Marigold World title that currently Anu has in her possession. So basically, you can say this is a preliminary match involving that. And of course, Chiaki and Mitsumatsui, members of Darkness Revolution, will try to do whatever it takes to win, and that's exactly what they did. But in the end, since of course Darkness Revolution know that Megaton is the weakest link in her team, she was taken out by Chiaki with the guillotine leg drop, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. But however, of course, in the post-match promo, Chiaki was going to smirk about it because she is believing confident enough that she'll walk away with the belt. But we'll see what happens until that takes place. Now, our next match, we have Shino, Seri Yamaoka, and Mai Sakurai taking on, of course, Nagisa Tachibana, Nao Ishikawa, and Utami Hayashida. Now, for those who may remember, Mai Sakurai, of course, was the debut opponent for Shino when she debuted. And, of course, it was a pretty good match. And not to mention, Sakurai was really impressed by her. But of course, we see the experienced wrestlers like Utami Hayashida and now Ishikawa plays out pretty well. But unfortunately, that did not do any favors for anybody, because in the end it was Sakurai with the STF onto Ishikawa, and just like that, Ishikawa had no choice but to tap out. Now, our main event, we have an interesting trios match. We have, of course, Hummingbird uh, teaming up with Kyoki Omori and Chigagoto, also together known as Twin Towers. They take on, of course, Komomo Minami, Victoria Yuzuki, and, of course, the icon of Yoshi Wrestling, Mayu Iwatani. Now, obviously, anybody is dumb enough would know that Mayu Iwatani being a double champion, they would try to pin her. Victoria Yuzuki being the United National Champion, that also plays out too. But it was a pretty good match. But I like how this turned out, where Minami was given at the chance near the end to shine. As you know, she's been learning a lot from Mayu Iwatani, someone who she looks up to, and that's exactly what she did when Komomo Minami pinned Hummingbird, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, we did see the post match promo from the winning team, mostly from Victoria Yuzuki. Can't wait to see what's going to happen next. So we'll see what happens. So we're done for now. Okay, MARIGOLD New Year's Golden Garden 2026. Now, this happened on the 15th of February. This is day 11th at the 176 box in Osaka, Japan, of course. Now, as you know, they had continuing with the semifinals of the MARIGOLD 3D Trios Championship Tournament. So basically, will determine who will be facing Darkness Revolution later on, of course, in the following event that takes place, which is their last show of this tour. And I'm excited to review that one for all of you. But right now, let's focus on day 11, of course. We open up with singles action. We have Komomo Minami versus Nao Ishikawa. Now, nothing too special or story-wise involved in this, but however, we have seen Komomo Minami have evolved a lot, not to mention under the tutelage of Mayu Iwatani. She's learned a lot, but however, she's facing a wrestler who has a bit more experience than her. We know in the early days she had a hard time picking up wins, but she has picked up wins here and there. Not the bigger ones that she would get, but wins nonetheless. But of course, you would have assumed that Komomo would definitely pick up an upset on this one, but no. She almost had this match won, but somehow Ishikawa overturned it, and by pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next singles match, we have Hummingbird versus Mitsa Matsui, who is, of course, a member of Darkness Revolution and one half of the Twin Star Tag Team Champions with Chiaki. However, this match had no any storyline to tell or anything. However, as for Mitsa Matsui, all she did care about is just winning her matches. And of course, Hummingbird was no match for her with her ruthless ways. And not to mention, when it seems like Mitsa Matsui had this match won, she decided to pick up the opponent and go, nope, I'd rather defeat her another way. She even tried the Lance Nor. It didn't work. But, however, she did a running knee strike onto her. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Mitsa picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have, of course, another member of Darkness Revolution, Nagisa Nozaki, taking on Megaton. Now, of course, it's no secret about these two ladies in their past. If you haven't forgotten, Megaton was a member of Darkness Revolution until she was kicked out by Nagisa Nozaki due to her failures. However, of course, Nagisa Nozaki will love nothing more to humiliate her further, and she did that when the referee did not see what she was intending to do. She sucker punched her in the eye, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But the referee was a bit suspicious, but Nagisa was telling him, I hit her with the elbow. Then, you can tell that she's lying, so that's pretty much how it is. And I'm sure she enjoyed humiliating Megaton at any way possible. Now, our next match is tag team action. We have the other members of Darkness Revolution, Chiaki and Rhea Seto, taking on Victoria Yuzuki and Mayu Iwatani. As you probably can guess, this brings back a lot of memories between Rhea Seto and Victoria Yuzuki. If you guys remember, Rhea Seto turned on Yuzuki because she felt that Yuzuki has been outshining her, which of course eventually she did, and that's exactly what's going. But however, Victoria Yuzuki has, of course, um, the icon of Yoshi wrestling by her side, of course, Mayu Iwatani. But in the end, it was Yuzuki who got a bit of a measure of payback from Rhea Seto's, you know, insolence towards her with a German suplex. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, our next match, we have an interesting six-person tag match. We have Nagisa Tachibana, Chika Goto, and Utami Ayashida taking on Shino, Kyuki Omori, and Miku Ano. Now, nothing too special about this match or any story-wise whatsoever. But it was a pretty good match, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we have seen a lot of great moments coming forward. But, however, it was Kyuki Omori who picked up the win by pinning Tachibana, and just like that, it was over. 1, 2, 3. However, during the post-match, while Miku Ano was celebrating, she was sneaked attack from behind by Chiaki. As you probably can guess, Chiaki is telling her, "Well, bitch, this is my belt. I'm taking it from you because you're gonna lose." So she took off with the belt, saying that it's over, bitch. I'm the one who won. You probably can guess. That's what she thinks. She thinks that it's already over, that she has her number. But she should know, Miku Ano is a force to be reckoned with, and that was the whole point. She doesn't know her like she thinks she does. I know some women from the Accurate Girls days had their issues towards her because she was the top girl in Accurate Girls, and Chiaki is like, it's not going to happen on my watch. But we'll see what happens because their match is in fact the last show of this tour, and I can't wait to review that. Now, our main event, of course, is the semifinals of the MARIGOLD 3D Trios Championship Tournament. We have Choco Koshino, Yuka Yamazaki, and Seri Yamaoka. Now, however, we have seen these ladies what they can do, but however, we're seeing a very interesting trios that have been formed. It seems like they're going to take it by storm. We're talking about Arina Yamanaka, Natsumi Shozuki, and of course, Mai Sakurai. Now, of course, obviously, many people would assume that the much experienced wrestlers were going to pick up the win. But however, once again, Arina Yamanaka has impressed many people, including us, on exactly what she can do in this matter. I mean, she applied a beautiful corkscrew splash. I have seen her do it many times, and this was the deal breaker that allowed her to win the match when she pinned Yamazaki. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. But I'm sure they have their sights set on winning these trios belts. But however, they have to make sure exactly who they're dealing with, because they're not facing any slouches. They're dealing with a group that are willing to break them in half in any means necessary. And of course, that's exactly what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned for the last one of the tour of this one. But that's it. So let's get to it. Okay, the final show of Marigold's Golden New Year's Golden Garden, of course. And we went back to Cork and Hall, and this happened, of course, back in February 23rd. Now, keep in mind, this is, of course, their last show, and we did have the inauguration of the first ever Mighty Gold 3D Trios Champions. We do have the United National title on the line and the Mighty Gold World title on the line as well. So we're going to go through everything on A to Z on this one. Now, our first match, we have tag team action. Basically, we have Yuka Yamazaki and Komomo Minami. They take on Shino and Seri Yamaoka. Now, one thing that you should know is tag team cohesion. That's always been a big factor when it comes to this. Now, for those who may not know this, Shino and Seri Yamaoka won a tag team tournament that features them the challenge for these belts, but however, the tag belts, but however, they were not able to succeed. But they have been able to become one as a team, and that's a good thing. Now I'm not sure about Yamazaki and Minami how they would be, but it seems like they were getting on the right page. And anyway, I mean, we all know that Komomo Minami is under the wing of Mayu Iwatani, obviously, because we've been seeing her hanging out with her a lot. But, however, it was in fact Yamaoka that was able to pin Yamazaki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have a bit of a a three-way match. We have Nagisa Tachibana versus Megaton versus Nao Ishikawa. Now, you all seen sometimes when it comes to Fukigen Dev, she likes to distract herself by going, Dev. Well, Megaton's like, ah, all the time. Well, she was doing that. Nagisa and now were in fact going head to head until, of course, Megaton realized what was going on. So she basically was a bit of oblivious on what was happening until she caught on. So she got herself involved. But however, of course, we did see a bit of the team up between both Tachibana and Ishikawa. What was it? I think it was Ishikawa that was able to wrap up Megaton like a burrito using the parts of the ring where it's wrapped up, and that worked out for a while until somehow Megaton was able to get out. But unfortunately, it was in fact a crossbody splash by Tachibana onto Megaton, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, of course, Megaton, as you all know, she hasn't been able to pick up a big major win. Well, it seems that she was issued a challenge by someone many of you may remember. It's not a girl, it's a guy. Kuroshio Tokyo Japan, or as we knew him back in NXT, Ikemenjiro. So yes, he called her out saying that he's willing to put his championship on the line. And of course, I'm sure she's going to go for it, no matter what. Now, our next match, we have another three-way match. We have Shoko Koshino, Hummingbird, and Utami Hayashishida taking on. Now, obviously, nothing too special about this, no story-wise to be told. But in the end, it was in fact Utami who picked up the win by applying a German suplex hold onto Koshino, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. However, we did see a post-match promo between Utami and Koshino. I don't know exactly what they're said, but it is what it is. Now, our next match is the inaugural of the MARIGOLD 3D Trios Championship Tournament. It's the finals. So whoever walks out will be the first ever champions. First, we have Darkness Revolution, Rhea Seto, Misa Matsui, and Nagisa Nozaki. They take on Arina Yamanaka, Natsumi Shozuki, and of course, the Lady of the Ring, Mai Sakurai. Now, obvious when it comes to Darkness Revolution, again, not to compare them like Hate. They're nothing compare like Hate at all. They use their usual tactics to soften their opponents by taking them outside the ring. Try to beat them up as much as hard as possible to make sure that they get the win to obtain these belts. But however, we did see, of course, how do I say this? Some interesting moments, but in the end, surprisingly, it was Arina Yamanaka who picked up the win when she applied that beautiful corkscrew splash onto Seto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Yamanaka picked up the win for her team, making her, Shozuki, and Sakurai as the first ever trios champions. And ironically, for many of you that don't know this, Shozuki and Sakurai were both inaugural champions. Shozuki was the first ever Superfly champion, so she's familiarized with that, and she makes history on that. And the same thing with Sakurai, who her and Mirai were, in fact, as you know, were the Twin Star Tag Team champions. So obviously, they are both familiarized, and this is, of course, Yamanaka's first championship gold in MARIGOLD, of course. For those who may not remember, she is not officially part of the roster. She also participates in other promotions. So obviously we'll be seeing her once in a while, or when it's appropriate for a title match. However, we did see Yamanaka with a promo all of a sudden we did see Komomo Minami making her presence, issuing a challenge for the trios belts. Now I'm not sure if she's speaking on behalf of both Victoria Yuzuki or Mayu for a chance of these belts. I mean, if she is, I mean, it makes perfect sense. But we'll see. Now, our next match, this is a match that I think many people were expecting, of course. We have Rin, or as people know as Rin Amakura from Marvelous. She faces against Mayu Iwatani. Now, remember, guys, um, on April 5th, Rin Amakura will be, in fact, retiring. And this was a very important match for Rin to face Mayu, of course. Of course, Rin, we haven't seen her that much since she left Japan, since her husband moved to Canada, and of course she had a baby over there. But it's great to see her. Not gonna lie about that, you know. But it was a pretty good match. Not gonna lie. I mean, Rin does have the bit of the powerhouse type of dynamic, and Mayu, we all know who she is. Mayu is the icon of Yoshi Wrestling, and that's who she is. But it took only a dragon suplex hold by Mayu to pick up the win, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, Ren Amakura did say something. I think she mentioned something about her final match. As you all know, she will be retiring in May, I believe. Let me pull it up because I know I saved it here on my phone not too long ago. I think she mentioned that the Rin requested Maya to be her tag partner for her retirement match. Bravely Marine would reunite on May 5th at the Yokohama Butai. So yeah, basically Mayu, of course, accepted the opportunity. So that's what's going to happen. So it's great to hear that. You know, of course, can't wait to see how that match will go. So hopefully, I do get the chance to see it. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to. It. Now, our next match is our semi-main event. Is the Marigold United National Championship. Chika Goto taking on Victoria Yuzuki, our current champion. Now, of course, I noticed how Chika Goto, despite we've seen her how, you know, really fun and always smiling when it comes to getting into the match, well, this time she is putting her game face on. Like, she knows how serious this match is. She's facing for a title that, you know, is very important. And she has no time to play. But of course, when it comes to Victoria Yuzuki, we all know her deal, of course. Not to mention a former Superfly champion under the tutelage of Mayu Iwatani and all that stuff. But she knows exactly what's going to take place. But in the end, Victoria Yuzuki was able to overcome it by applying a victory senton onto her, which is like it's kind of similar as a spiral tap, you know, onto her, but except it somehow it also turned into a senton, you know, move, but it was effective, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Yuzuki retained the championship. However, we did have a post-match promo. I don't know what Victoria Yuzuki said, but it seems that she was asking her about the little extra weight that she has. So I'm not sure if she was being disrespectful or questioning what happened. I mean, this is not you, but we'll see what happens from there. Now, our main event is the Marigold World Championship, of course, in a hair versus hair match. Chiaki challenges for this belt against Miku Ano. Now, of course, when it comes to Chiaki, as a member of Darkness Revolution, she would do whatever it takes to dismantle Miku Ano, try to break her as much as possible in hopes that she wins this belt, and that's exactly what she attempted to do. But of course, Miku Ano refuses to stay down. She wasn't going to let anybody, especially someone like, of course, Chiaki, to try to make things a bit more difficult for her. But in the end, it took only, of course, the Red Sensation, which is like a hammerlock type of driver onto her tombstone that put her away. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. She retained the belt. However, Chiaki, since she lost, she had to shave her head, and she refuses to let Miku Ano or anybody touch her. But she did it herself by, you know, showing that, you know, she obliges by the rules. So basically, she wanted to do it herself. And I don't know who's going to be the next challenger, but we'll see. But that's pretty much it. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this special episode. As you know, I did mention I'll be doing more of these. Now, I haven't decided yet what's going to be the next one, but I'll be doing videos and release them later as we go. So it's going to be a real fun one. So as of right now, we're done for now for Marigold. There is another tour that just started, of course. I think that is the Spring Victory, I believe. So we'll see how that rolls out too. But for now, we'll leave things as it is, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. So, I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, mwah, and have a nice day. Bang.